But first, America in shutdown, day 17. Now, beyond the numbers that flash on the screen, counting those infected and killed by COVID-19, and they're always horrific, we often forget through the sadness and the fear that this is also causing our American family a lot of pain. We have to ask, what is this virus doing to us as a people as we deal with the victims and trying to prevent more deaths? Well, apparently, it's turning us into a nation of snitches.
If you've observed recurring violations of the Safer at Home order, please continue to let us know at coronavirus.lacity.org/business violation. You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you for turning folks in and making sure we are all safe.
I have a question, Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles. Who keeps us safe from you? It's become abundantly clear that in the midst of this unprecedented health crisis, that there are bad actors everywhere trying to use this to their advantage. Sean and I were just talking about some of them. From washed-up celebrities lip-syncing their greatest hits on YouTube, to politicians using fear to cram down policies that would be inconceivable to us under normal circumstances. Now, while we as a nation continue doing our part to keep ourselves and each other safe during these very difficult days, we cannot stand idly by as people in either party take advantage of this very complicated and dire situation.
As a society, beyond just this immediate situation, we should start looking forward to understand how this experience is going to change us, or how it should change us, because this is going to be transformative. When do we get back to normal? I don't think we get back to normal.
Wait a second. I thought we don't get back to normal? Now, I thought the whole point of locking ourselves in our homes was to save lives, of course, and then go back to our old normal lives. Now, the Democrats think they have President Trump in a no-win situation. That's obvious from the way they're acting. So they're not even worried at this point about hiding their agenda.
Are you taking into consideration green jobs, green infrastructure?
Yes, and if we're going to do infrastructure, we need it big, we need it bold, and we need it futuristic, which means green. There's traditional infrastructure, roads, bridges, highways. We need that. But we also need new green infrastructure for the future. Phase
4. COVID meets Solyndra. Maybe we can call it Covindra. Green. Now, absolutely absurd, and this should be exposed and resisted at all costs by the GOP. Come on. Now, if they're not going green, though, they're going for the guns. Because the same liberal governors who classified abortion clinics as essential businesses rushed in to close gun stores as non-essential. And gun owners, well, they weren't happy.
We weren't willing to just sit by and watch people's rights be violated. The right to keep and bear arms necessarily includes the right to acquire them. How can you keep, how can you bear something you can't get your hands on?
Now here's Vox's freakout headline from earlier today. Flatten the curve and your Second Amendment rights. Check that out. Well, mayors are also using the virus to empty their jails. Some violent offenders have already gone on to commit other crimes. And since we're talking about lawbreakers, they have advocates in the White House briefing room, too.
Over 5 million immigrants in this country do pay taxes through their IT numbers, yet they will not receive any money in their stimulus package. How do you suppose they survive during the COVID-19?
Well, you know, you're saying undocumented, meaning they came in illegally. And a lot of people would say we have a lot of citizens right now that won't be working. So what are you going to do? It's a tough thing. I'm not going to give you a hard and fast answer because I just want to tell you it's something I think about, and it's something we're working on.
Now, while, of course, everyone feels bad for everyone in this situation here, and we love immigrants, but the operative word, and President Trump knows this, he said it so many times, is legal immigrants. And right now, with everything we're facing, it's got to be Americans first. But of all the scams perpetrated through the COVID nightmare, the effort to change voting, we told you like 2 weeks ago this was going to happen, is perhaps the worst. Anything to create more opportunities for ballot harvesting or even voter fraud.
We need $1.6 billion added to the next COVID response bill to ensure that vote by mail, in-person early voting, and election day voting can happen.
We'll probably be moving to vote by mail.
It may mean that you have a circumstance where you have drive-in voting, literally, you pull up and you have vote.
I don't even know what Biden was saying there. Kind of trails off at the end of those sentences, doesn't he? But it's not only the Democrats playing games here. Former Trump administration FDA commissioner, well, he's actually seeing his own demand peak. Scott Gottlieb, he's on television several times a day and has the ear of the White House. He's written a kind of roadmap to recovery plan that discusses the need to do a bunch of things to get back to normal, including, in part, tracking citizens' movement during this crisis. Now, some of this is already happening. Sources told the Wall Street Journal that the federal, state, and local governments have already started collecting and studying geolocation data. Now, it turns out that big tech is helping Big Brother track your COVID compliance. Now, we expect this kind of stuff from China and Russia, maybe even Korea, but here? Now, when I was a student in the Soviet Union, they watched our every move. There were informants in our hotel and the coffee, stand-up little coffee shops, and they all received special government privileges for ratting out, tourists into the Soviet Union or even their fellow citizens. My goodness, we can't have that here. Now, in the coming days and the coming weeks, we're going to be doing some tracking of our own, of the models funded by billionaires that keep Americans out of work, and of projections that are based in faulty assumptions, and in some cases, even incomplete data. Congress may be out of session while you're out of work, but not us. Hundreds of thousands of Americans die every year from horrific things: viruses, pneumonia, obviously old age, cancer, diabetes, other terrible illnesses. They also die from despair, drug overdoses, opioids, suicide, and loneliness. Every life is precious, and we have to ensure that winning the war against COVID-19 doesn't kill the patient, which is America. And those are my thoughts at the end of this shutdown, day 17.